Sure, man.
Tonight we're paying homage to the late great Peter Lane, and it is the Peter Lane Memorial Cup 2025 review from IPW New Zealand. And here we go. I've already lost the big papa already here on the stream. He will be back shortly, and he has made his way back. And as Papa Smoke enters the room, that means I can finally say, boom, just like that. It's Thursday night, and that means it's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, the man sat beside me. He's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Woo, happy Thursday to you too, Munson, and to all the wrestling people out there. We got another episode of Ring Respect Radio for y'all, and it starts right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for this one, Bob Smokes. As always, love talking about New Zealand professional wrestling. But before we get there, hello to Bass, who's in the chat here tonight. Happy Thursday, handsome lads, he says. Right back at you, you good-looking man. Yes, it's going to be a fun night talking about it. But before we even start talking about that, seeing as Bass is here, you know Bass's favorite wrestling promotion. I think it's something called Prairie Pro Wrestling. I'm pretty sure that's top of his list anyway. And Prairie Pro Wrestling is back live on Saturday, August the 29th. I hope I got that date right, but if I didn't, somewhere in around there is when PPW is back in live action here in Saskatoon. You get your tickets now for Power Trip. Yes, we're going to be on a Power Trip, the last stop before the Ring of Horus 5. I'll tell you, Pop Smokes, I'm almost excited as our other guests in the chat here, like Zach Minger saying hello on a Thursday, and of course the Mangler rolling on in. Happy National Papa Smokes Day. Well, I did not know, Papa Smokes, that they officially made National Papa Smokes Day on July the 30th. So mark your calendars. That's an important day.
Well, it is, Munson, and once a year, that is Papa Smokes Day, July 30th. That is the day.
Well, there we go. There we go. Happy National Papa Smokes Day right at you, bro. And, of course, your Bombers are playing right now, so I know you're going to be excited to go watch them right after. Bird supporting the blue right there, of course. But Bob Smokes, how excited are you for PPW's Power Trip? How excited are you for that last stop before the big Ring of Horror show?
Hey, just for 1 second before we get to that, Munson, while on the topic of the Winnipeg Bluebombers game tonight in Winnipeg, did you notice that our friends down at WPW Winnipeg Pro Wrestling are doing a show at the Bomber game tonight, at the tailgate, beforehand, before the game, which is probably, as we record, probably already happened. But how cool is that? Cheers to those guys. They must be having a great old time down there. There will be 30-some thousand people at that game, and what an opportunity for our buddies Blair and everybody else down at WPW to be playing the good old CFL game. Nice.
Oh, it's huge. I'm so happy for them. They're getting a lot of great opportunities, and we love to see that. And always go support Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. They have great stuff over on YouTube, free matches for you guys to watch. So go check them out, support them, love what they do. And let's go back to it, Pop Smokes, Prairie Pro Wrestling. Coming up Saturday, August 29th, Power Trip. It is the last show before the Ring of Horrors, and you know the big things are going to come to a screeching halt here as we find out what the plan is for the Ring of Horrors. We know we had a new champion crown at the last show, 2 shows before that, new tag champions crown. What kind of stuff is going to happen? Who's going to step up to Jacob Creed and the Brotherhood leading into the Ring of Horrors? Like, so many questions that even you and I have, Pop Smokes, but I tell you, I am extremely excited to see where this all goes.
Very much so. And like you say, the go-home show before Ring of Horrors is one of the big shows of the year, because then everything will be set for the big show in Halloween, the Ring of Horrors, the PPW fans' dream every year. That's the one that everybody wants to see. That's where all roads lead. So at this time, with the Brotherhood controlling all of the titles in PPW, it makes this show coming up at the end of August a very important show. We're going to see who holds the belts going into Ring of Horrors, and we're going to see who's got the momentum, who's got the love, who's got the hate, who's got everything else going on towards that show, who's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there probably for this Ring of Horrors. It's going to be gigantic. We'll get it all set up August 29th.
Oh, you bet. And of course, we're going to maybe have some answers to some questions like, why did the cowbell get used by Jacob Creed after Cannonball Kelly threw it into the ring? What is up with that? Was Cannonball Kelly doing this by accident, or is there something deeper to it? Like Bass had maybe suggested a few shows ago, where he said maybe Cannonball Kelly is having a little bit of a change of heart. Maybe he's being drawn into a little re-education.
Well, maybe that's certainly a possibility. Another one is that possibly the ring gear boy didn't take the stuff into the back like he was supposed to, and now there's a dangerous item sitting at ringside. Munson, could that be a possibility?
Listen, Papa Smokes, is that cowbell any more dangerous than the ring bell sat at ringside there, or the hammer that rings the ring bell sat out ringside, or the many chairs accessible to people at ringside? I can't see in any world how it's my fault that I accidentally left said cowbell on the tail. And he leaves. Look at this. He leaves as I'm explaining my innocence. He's had so much that he's just like, nah, Munson, out of here. Not taking this shit anymore. I'm walking out of this stream. That's saying I think the only way to make the Brotherhood more powerful is adding a cannonball. Yeah, that could be Bass. I mean, I don't know what happened. I mean, from my perspective, where I was sat, it looked pretty innocent to me. I think it might have been a mistake by Cannonball. Geez, you see, I get on a roll explaining my innocence, Papa Spokes, and you just walk on out. You just don't even want to hear the truth. Oh, you with us there, Papa Spokes? Maybe, maybe not. I think we're having some.
Come on, Munson. You did that on purpose.
Whoa, wait, what?
You did that on purpose, Munson. As soon as I.
Oh, we're losing you on the audio there, Papa Smokes. No, we lost him again. We are having some major technical difficulties here tonight. Unfortunately, we'll do our best to get to talking about IPW New Zealand here in a bit. Hopefully, we can resurrect Papa Smokes back from the dead here as he returns back to join us on the show right now. But again, I will reiterate in the meantime and in between time, those tickets for PPW's Power Trip are on sale for the reserved seating. Reach out to us on all social media if you want to book your tickets to the hottest indie wrestling show in all of Saskatoon. You're not going to want to miss out on it. Just like, I would think Bob Smokes wouldn't want to miss out on another consistent Thursday night here for himself. But yet here he is running away. He asks me the tough questions. I give him the tough answers, and he just abandons me like this. Like, it's just absolutely astonishing that somebody at Papa Smokes would do this. Yeah, look at this. SaskTel dial-up for Papa Smokes. I don't even know if he's got SaskTel. He's probably rocking the Rogers coaxial internet services. Here he is. He's back in the fold. Papa Smokes. Are you back with us audio-wise as well too, sir? Nope. Something's not coming through. Nope. We're definitely having some troubles here.
My audio sounds a little choppy, but yeah, that's that.
Gotcha. I think you're back. So, hopefully, anyway. So, yeah, must be this crazy warm weather. It's affected. Holy shit, he's gone again. Whew. We might have some difficulty here doing the stream tonight. I might have to do the old-fashioned phone Papa Smoke situation and get him on the line that way for you. Oh, he has returned. He is here. Hopefully. Fingers crossed it's going to work this time. Papa Smokes, are you with us?
Okay, looks okay. So, yeah, it looks and sounds okay now.
All right. Sounds good. Hopefully we got things sorted out. Papa Smokes, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Can you hear me, Munson?
Oh, we can hear you. I think there might be a slight audio delay from my end getting to you, so I'll make sure to kind of give a little bit of a pause in between to let you catch up on the audio side. And he's gone, just like that. Oh, we were so close. I was just getting ready to say we should start talking about the main topic of the night, and away he goes one more time. Hopefully this will not. I mean, SaskTel dial-up even would do better than this, you'd think, hey, Vassar? All right, Papa Smokes, you're
Okay,
with us.
that sounds better.
All right, sounds good, sir. Hopefully, we can keep you on here for a while. I was going to say, let's get right down to it in case we don't get an opportunity to get through this with the technical difficulties. So let's talk about our friends over at IPW New Zealand, Impact Pro
Yes.
Wrestling, and the Peter Lane Memorial Cup 2025. We know that this one was a little out of order to the way we've been reviewing them, as we found out from the order on YouTube eventually. But happy that I think, took this pause to wait on this one, get to watch this one, really give it some depth, because this was cool. I really, really enjoyed watching this entire tournament. I especially felt warm about all the comments that they're making, the opening package, the talk about what Peter Lane meant to some of these guys, and especially when you get Vinny Dunn on there talking, or you get Jake Sheehan, good friend of ours here on the show, talking about what Peter Lane meant to them, what he did for them in pro wrestling, and his legacy. Of course, you got the heel side of it in there as well too, doing some shit talking like they should. They didn't break character in that sense, but the ones who really had that effect from Peter Lane and have worked with him personally, it was a very nice touch. I love that opening package. So I'm turning it over to you, Pop Smokes. Opening package. Anything you want to say about Peter Lane or about this event before we get rocking with this matches?
Sure. First things first, I agree with you completely. This entire show had a really just nice feel to it. Like whenever somebody passes away that has done great stuff, it's sad, but it's happy also because you can celebrate the legacy of someone who accomplished things in their life. And Peter Lane was one of those guys in the world of New Zealand wrestling. For this show, we're at Mount Albert Memorial Hall in Auckland, New Zealand. We've covered many cards here before in the past. This has a capacity of 200 people. They were loud. They were into it. This was good. This card was on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, so almost a full year ago. We're back to Auckland, the city of sails and black sand beaches, and we can almost see the famous Sky Tower, the second tallest freestanding structure in the Southern Hemisphere, at 1,076 feet tall. But anyway, let's talk about Peter Lane just a little bit now.
Yeah.
In doing research here, I was able to listen to the remarks of a number of current active New Zealand wrestlers about Peter Lane, but in all honesty, I couldn't find that much archival material about him on the internet to read up, times and dates and titles and such that he had won. But we know for sure that he wrestled in the on the mat era. You remember from our trip through the territories, New Zealand, we talked about New Zealand's national wrestling television show from 1975 to 1984 was called On the Mat. And it was a typical wrestling show, matches interspersed with promos and interviews, same format as most wrestling shows. Peter Lane was a star on the mat. And now this was significant also because Peter Lane wrestled as a middleweight, approximately 175 pounds in an era when most of the other wrestlers, pretty much all of them on the mat, were heavyweights, over 200, over 210 pounds. So you know that Lane was really, really hitting his stride on this show because they would always include a middleweight match just so they could showcase the talents of Peter Lane. That shows the respect he had at the time as an active wrestler, but he was a trainer. In this case, we're going to know him as a trainer because these modern wrestlers, and when I say modern, I'm talking about guys that have been in the business for 10 or more years. A guy like Vinny Dunn is retiring, so he's been in the business longer than that. He was trained by Peter Lane, and we're going to hear lots of his remarks about his mentor later on in this program and later on this wrestling show. And basically, Peter Lane and Vinny Dunn together mixed the old and new schools of wrestling, or the old generation, the modern generation. They wanted to get the skills of the old generation over with the new generation. Peter Lane wanted to pass that knowledge on to the newer wrestlers. Guys like Tatahi, Vinny, Dunn were more than open to that. They also saw the value in that, as everybody should. I think that's how the passage of knowledge goes on from the elders to the youngers, and that's how it worked with Peter Lane. So we know him more now as a trainer, an influence, and a mentor to the modern era of New Zealand wrestling. And certainly that rings strongly on this card and with this generation, the influence that he had in training and influencing modern wrestlers. That kind of knowledge just really can't be replaced. And Tatahi telling us all about that at the end of the show.
Exactly, yeah. Quick good evening to Mel Ball joining us in the chat here. Hello, Mel
Hey,
Ball.
Mel.
Hopefully everything's going well for you at the moment. Again, everybody in Alberta has been getting hit with some crazy-ass storms here, Pop Smokes. It's been wild out there, so, all our best wishes to everybody out there that's going through absolute nightmarish weather conditions. But I hope you're well, Mel. So, yes, we're going to start the night off with, of course, one of the opening matches in this tournament. 8 men in this tournament, Papa Smokes. So we're starting with a quarterfinal match. Match 1 is Will Stone taking on Tatahi himself, Vinny Dunn in the opener. What a great way to open this thing up. And these two did great job working well together off the start. In fact, Will Stone really picked up some momentum early on in this matchup, getting some work over on Vinny Dunn himself. But, of course, Vinny bouncing back, being able to get that muscle buster onto Will Stone and pick up the 3 count. So not even deterred by the fact that Alex Savage is on the outside of the ring there as well. So great work opening this show up. I know it's a tournament matchup. You're going to put your best foot forward in this thing, and they certainly did. They got 2 guys here that really knew how to open the show. You got a lot of heat when you got Will Stone out there. We've said it many times before. And, of course, Vinny Dunn, very much over right now with the audience as he's nearing retirement or semi-retirement, as he's heading there, as he headed into the Hall of Fame for IPW as well, too. So very great way to open this card up. And Mel saying the move from Edmonton is done. Moving into Calgary on Saturday. Hopefully it all goes well there in Calgary for you, Mel.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Wishing you all the best. So, but yes,
all right.
folks, that opening matchup. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel really good about it. This is a solid match on any New Zealand card. Will Stone with Alex Savage, of course, collectively known as SAS, versus Tatahi Vinny Dunn towards the end of his career. A long career as a heel, an arrogant, hated heel who just constantly antagonizes audiences all throughout his career. But at this late stage in his career, he's a babyface, and this is such a sweet spot for wrestlers because if you're over as a heel and then the fans know you're going to retire soon, they'll pick up with you. And then now Vinny Dunn, just with a very, very, very popular career, very popular amongst the fans. He's a babyface. They love him, and they like who he's using his skills against here. The arrogant, heelish Will Stone getting the brunt of this here too. And SAS, they never want a fair fight. They're always going to interfere. Alex Savage, between puffs of his stogie, is interfering at ringside, distracting the ref, all this kind of stuff. Eventually, Dunn knocks Savage off the apron, hits a spear and a muscle buster for the pinfall. 8 minutes, they're in and out. This is a first-round match. No need to draw that out. Dunn gets the win, advances in the tournament. Will Stone, get out, you're done.
You bet. So match number 2, here's the one where I kind of wish we would have watched these in order because we found out the result of this one by watching one of the other cards previously. But our next matchup was Jacked Maximum taking on Horus, or Horus, as we've been told to say many times before by Selena De La Renta. But Horus, as he's known out in New Zealand, in this matchup against Jacked Maximum. And, of course, man, those chants from the audience, and we aren't going to repeat them because they got pretty nasty. They are getting really down with making fun of Jacked Maximum. It was Maximum and then whatever vulgarity you could tack on to the end of it. Those chants were wild from this audience. Like, people should go check this out just to hear how insane that audience started to get. So you got, of course, Joseph Cruz from the Sigma Collective out in the corner of Jack Maximum. A lot of chants throughout the night of free Joseph. He's really starting to get a little bit over with the audience as that odd man that's been dragged into the Sigma Collective, which is kind of fun. He plays it well, man. He plays that drawn in kind of, I just want to fit in with the boys kind of character, and it's working for him. So I like this direction for him. Jack Maximum, of course, is a big man. He is a very solid man in there. And Horus, of course, a former IPW New Zealand champion on multiple occasions, one of the top wrestlers in the company to date. This match got quite competitive between the two of them, and quite a fight broke out. And in the end, the big surprise, had we not knowing it, but Jack Maximum gets a really convincing pinfall victory over the former champion. They, not only in this match, but we'll talk about it in his next match too, did a great way of highlighting Jack Maximum as someone down the road that we're going to be talking about as potentially a champion in this company, like a singles champion in this company.
Very much so. Jack Maximum making a big impact in this match. And as we were told on commentary by David Dunn and Amber St. Quite good on the commentary.
Very good.
Didn't you think so, Munson? Yeah, she's very well spoken. Very good job on that. But they explained to anyone that didn't know about Horus and his various title wins in the past and championship reigns. He was definitely a front runner to possibly win this whole tournament. And of course, we knew what happened first, but if you stumbled upon this match, you would think probably that Horus was going to win this. But oh no, he does not. And it's really no stretch to think that Jack Maximum could really ragdoll his way through pretty much anyone to win. And that's exactly what he did in this match. The only real story work done in this being about Joseph Cruz, who's kind of a reluctant member of the Sigma Collective. They've taken him under their wing, whether he really wanted to go or not. But like you say, he's doing his best to make the best of this situation. And I think he's doing great. You can see how young this guy is. You can see that he probably doesn't have all that much ring experience, but his facial expressions and such, he's funny. And the fans, they like him. They bonded to him. I like him too. And I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. And clearly, even though he's involved with this heel faction, the fans like him. And that's why they're chanting, "Free Joseph Cruz, free Joseph Cruz." They want to see him not held down by the heel Sigma Collective there. They want to see him spread his wings, and they want to see what he can do. But for now, at least in the whole storyline of what's going on here, Cruz still under the thumb of Jack Maximum and the others in the Sigma Collective. But at any rate, as much of a veteran as Horus is, as much as he used his experience in this match, Jack Maximum just put the power level through 11 and just absolutely used strength and power in this match to win. He gave an Oklahoma power slam, a nice running power slam, put Horus through the middle of the mat, 1, 2, 3, and there you go. It's an upset of a certain type for sure, but whatever was going on that night, Horus doing the job, Jack Maximum moves on in the tournament. Very interesting.
Yeah, and it's only an upset in the sense that it's Jack Maximum is very new to the scene, and Horus is the veteran in this situation. It's not that it looks unbelievable or is one of those the big time underdog came up with a roll up pin or something like that. This is a situation of this guy is going to be a threat, and they're going to make him out to be a threat throughout this thing. And even, like I said, in his next matchup coming up in the next round, we'll talk about how they protected that in a sense, in my opinion, as well too. But speaking of the Sigma Collective, Papa Smokes, our next match features now the rebranded Perfect Peter Parr as Perfect Peter Prince. And of course, there was our answer as to the rebranding. Apparently he was asked why rebranding to Perfect Peter Prince, and he said it's a rebrand. Don't ask questions. I think that's the explanation we got, and I'm like, That's all the explanation I need. I love that explanation. It's a rebrand. Don't ask questions. Perfect for his character. Great heel work on that in that sense. He's taking on Zach Hayle, one half of the members of the New Blood tag team. This match, of course, went on for a fair amount of time as well too between these two. Zach Hale's always going to put up a great fight. He's beloved by the fans. New Blood are extremely over, and this was at the point where his tag partner was injured before going to that fans bring the weapons matchup that would come at the card following this one as well too. So here he is kind of isolated by himself in this matchup up against Perfect Peter Prince. Of course, Perfect Peter Prince manages to get the victory, but that wouldn't be the end of the night for Zach Hayle. Unfortunately, he would then suffer an attack afterwards from SAS as they beat him down ahead of that fans bring the weapons match, which of course I'm going to eventually, once this video is processed, I'll put the link up above. You can go check out our review of that particular card and find out just what happened in that fans bring the weapons match. But your thoughts on this quarterfinal match, Papa Smokes?
Well, this was a pretty good one. And again, you might think that Perfect Peter Prince has the clear advantage in this. Zach Hayle is without his tag team partner, Kid Nova, by his side. Peter Prince has got Joseph Cruz out there. He's part of the Sigma Collective. And Peter Prince, very gifted athlete, very, very tall, strong guy. He's a vicious wrestler. He's got a ton of good moves. So you would think that this would be fairly one-sided, but in fact, Zach Hale's got some dog in him. I like this kid. He's got a cool look. He's a baby face. He's heavily tattooed. He's got good baby face energy. Prince was having trouble getting going in this. Hayle came out with the enthusiasm and the momentum to carry his way through the first few minutes of this match. But once Peter Prince takes over, he's a runaway train. He's very hard to stop. He's so big, he's so powerful. He's got those long limbs with a lot of leverage there. And even though Hayle could fight out from underneath with a lot of acrobatic and aerial and flashy moves, it was not his night. He missed the top rope, corkscrew moonsault, and then Perfect Peter Prince hitting that basement drop kick, which kind of functions as a senton in a way too, because he lands with his body on top of you after the drop kick, gets the pinfall, and of course, as you mentioned, SAS come out to give Zach Hayle a little bit of extra attention. And this was not only to build heel heat for the SAS, but them sending a message to New Blood and any other tag team that thinks they're going to get in SAS's face for those tag belts. They're going to work you, and they're going to jump you, and they're going to hurt you. That's exactly what they did to Hayle. So despite SAS not actually having a match together this night, they still make a statement as a tag team for the future that they're not to be messed with, and Zach Hayle, unfortunately, taking the brunt of that.
Yeah, you bet. And that's those Aetiora tag team belts we're talking about. I've got that down now, Pop Smokes. I've been paying extra close attention. Don't want to make those same mistakes. Aetiora tag team titles that SAS are currently holding. We get to our final match in the quarterfinals here of the tournament to determine who's going to be moving on. We have got, of course, Papa Smokes' favorite and most offensive wrestler of all time, Sir Mr. Burns, in one corner of the ring. And on the other half, we got former guest here on Ring Respect Radio, our good friend Jake Sheehan, on the other side of the ring. And we have seen these two at each other's throats for some time now, Papa Smokes. There is no love lost between these two whatsoever. Mr. Burns is such a jerk. He is such a jerk, and he really just knows how to irritate everybody watching, everybody in that audience. He has that down to a T. In this matchup, Burns tries paying off Lady Reffington at one point, but then that's what leads to Jake getting the roll up and the pinfall victory. But I thought that was a nice touch. Of course, Lady Reffington, who's commented on our show before too, watched some of our programs, does a great job. Got a pop multiple times throughout the night for her work, and even some shout outs on commentary as well too. But yeah, she wasn't going to have any of this payoff, especially from Sir Mr. Burns of all people. That wasn't going to happen. So Jake Sheehan moving on. This was a solid matchup because these two have a great ability in the ring together. Before I go to your thoughts, Papa Smokes, speaking of Blair, hey, fellas, sorry, high on the couch, forgot what day it was. All good. We thought you were out at, there you go. We thought maybe you were out dealing with the Winnipeg Bluebombers game there. We heard you guys are doing show or tailgate show out there, so we were saying at the top of the hour that we wish you well and hope things are going well there for you guys, and hope we get to see some footage or something up on the socials at least from that event. So back to you though, Pop Smokes. Your thoughts on this last quarterfinal matchup?
Yeah, I'm just reading right from my notes here. The first thing I have.
Your audio, Pop Smokes.
Okay, how about now? You hear me now, Munson?
No, still can't hear you. I don't know if it's me or if it's you.
All right, well.
Oh, there we go. I got you. Maybe It was me. I'm not sure. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. The first thing I have written in my notes for this match upon the entrance of Sir Mr. Burns is Jesus, that strut and dancing from Sir Mr. Burns. My God, man, does he ever get under the skin of the fans? And I like the kind of heel that he plays is because he realizes he's ridiculous, but he doesn't care what the fans think. That's what really gets under their skin. Some heels try to be cool and they hope the fans like them. And they either do or they don't. But Sir Mr. Burns doesn't care if the fans like it. That's the hilarious part. And he does his little strut. And he does his little dance. And he's got his baggy white diapers kind of on over those trunks. They look like baggy diapers over his tights and everything. He's just hilarious. I've spent so much time hating him that now I kind of love him because he's so effective as a heel. Now Burns and Jake Sheehan have recent history together because Burns had stolen a victory from Sheehan on his way to winning the Eliminator Cup and the contract, which of course can be cashed in for a championship match anytime. So Sheehan with a little bit of extra sauce, to want to beat Sir Mr. Burns. These two wrestle for quite a while at the beginning of this match. Really quite good wrestling. Sir Mr. Burns working on that shoulder and elbow of Jake Sheehan, obviously looking to weaken it towards that Kimura arm lock that he uses sometimes. Sheehan has a nice, one of his finishing moves is a corkscrew suplex, reminiscent of Richard Holliday's 2008 stock market crash. Lifted up for the vertical suplex and then spun around corkscrew style. Does that move very, very effectively. And like you already pointed out, Burns now got a few $10 bills in his trunks, and he's going to try and bribe the referee. Referee ain't having it, not at that price anyway. And Burns gets rolled up by Jake Sheehan. Guess the greatest defensive wrestler in the world didn't see that one coming. 1, 2, 3, we got a pinfall. Jake Sheehan advances in this tournament, and much to the delight of the fans, Sir Mr. Burns, hit the showers. You're done.
That's right. He can get on home for the night, but we would see him again at least one more time anyway. But coming up next, it's the semifinals of this tournament. Starting off with Jack Maximum taking on Vinny Dunn, and I alluded to the fact that there was a good way to protect Maximum and the way they built him with that win over Horus in this one, because without having Jack Maximum end up in the finals here, you almost have to find a way. How do we get Vinny Dunn there because of how much this particular tournament means to Vinny Dunn? Like, even though you could almost see the writing on the wall that this was probably leading to Vinny versus Jake Sheehan in the end kind of thing, I still was drawn to every bit of what they were doing here because I liked every bit of what they were doing. And so even with that said, I'm like, how are we going to get there, especially after what you've just done with Jack Maximum, how dominant you made him look. And so they had a great fight here. They had a really great fight between these two. You got the veteran on one side. You got this hungry, young, big, tough son of a bitch in Jack Maximum there. And what ends up happening is when they're fighting on the outside of the ring is Vinny pushes Maximum into the ring post, which knocks him straight out. And they go for a count-out victory, something that you don't see very often. You don't see it very often, especially with indie wrestling promotions. And yet it's so damn effective here because he didn't pin him. He didn't submit him, but he still beat him. And that's what the key was here, is managing to get to the next round. And I know he's a babyface in this case, but by hook or by crook in so many ways, right? He found a way to beat the big man who was looking like someone who was going to march his way right to the final. And I thought this was a beautiful touch, very well played out. And congrats, Vinny Dunn, now one of our finalists.
For sure. And this being a tournament, an eight-person tournament, you knew that a few of these matches at least were going to be pretty short. They were all going to be 10 minutes or less for sure. This one around about 3 minutes. So with Vinny Dunn, he's going to have to wrestle 3 matches tonight by the look of it, right? So you got to give him some time off in this one. He had a challenging first match, and then you look across the ring at Jack Maximum.
Oh, and then we lose Papa Smokes right then and there. He's been on such a roll here tonight until then. We lose him again, but he will be back with us shortly. He just got so excited talking about Jack Maximum versus Vinny Dunn that he had to take a short break. And the man, the myth, the legend has returned to your screens. Papa Smokes, can you hear us? I think we're back with you.
Yeah, I can hear you. My internet doesn't like me tonight, I guess. I don't know what the problem is. But...
It happens. We'll do our best to get through it. But
okay,
back at
good,
you.
good.
Back at
well,
you.
at any rate, yeah, just like you said, they needed a way to put Dunn over without Maximum looking weak.
Still with us there, Pop Smokes? Oh no, we lost him again. we're really struggling. We almost got through all the semifinals. We're getting there. We're making it there. The internet just ain't loving Papa Smokes. I mean, it's counting him out. We got a count out matchup, and now the internet is counting Papa Smokes out. Man, Papa Smokes, we're gonna have to do the 10 count on you every time you leave here outside of the ring. See if you get counted out.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a count out loss right away here. What the hell?
Well, hopefully you can make it through this time, Bob Smokes. Back at you.
Okay, yeah. Nothing much more to add on this 3-minute match, but Jack Maximum goes down to Vinny Dunn without looking any weaker in the interim. And stuff happens in a tournament. Sometimes people wrestle more than one match, and quote unquote injuries can happen. He took a hard shot to the ring post with his head and couldn't make it back in the ring by 10. These things happen. So Vinny Dunn advances without breaking a sweat the second time. And we're almost on our way to the finals here.
You bet we are. So one more matchup to go to determine the opponent. We got Perfect Peter Prince taking on Jake Sheehan. And, of course, one of the biggest takeaways I had from this is this really showed the Perfect Peter Prince can really hang with the top guys in IPW. Of course, Jake Sheehan, a former IPW New Zealand heavyweight champion, held the belt for nearly 2 years. Perfect Peter Prince is kind of in that stage of really coming up, really coming into his all, really stepping it up. And this matchup here with Sheehan was awesome. This was really, really good. Again, we talked about how we like Perfect Peter Prince. He keeps getting better each and every time. Jake Sheehan is always, I don't think we've seen a match of Jake Sheehan's that wasn't good at this point. Like he just really knows how to put in the work, and there's nothing short of incredible here. Sheehan does get that pinfall victory with a roll up in this match, assuring himself a place in the finals against Vinny Dunn. Probably the logical and obvious choice, but again, this is the first ever Peter Lane Memorial Cup that they're running. This was the only way to book this final, in my opinion, is to get to these two. I think this was the most honorable way to end this tournament is Vinny Dunn versus Jake Sheehan.
I think so too. And in this case, you didn't really need a heel and a baby face. You needed the two people that most represented uh, Peter, the people that were closest to him in his life, and the ones that could represent what Peter Lane meant to New Zealand wrestling. So here you have it, a 5-minute match. Sheehan goes over Prince. These two have wrestled each other millions of times before. Joseph Cruz gets involved a little bit, but unsuccessfully gets knocked off the apron. He can't win for losing at this point, but he'll have his day. Anyway, the guys looked a little bit tired from the previous matches, so 5 minutes. We're gonna Prince hits his basement drop kick. Jake rolls him into a cradle position and pinfall. Let's get in, let's get out, and let's get the guys resting for the final.
Yeah. All right, so now to break things up a little bit before we get to that final match, give the guys a little bit of a breather before they have to wrestle one more time. We got two other matchups here for you. First up, it is a tag team match. Members of Con Capital taking on Short and Sweet, the team of Maddie Short and Izzy Kinlock, who I now kind of equate them to being the fun, lovable, I want to say, jobber is such a bad word to use, obviously, enhancement guys or guys that they're there for the fun. They're there to put the other guys over. It was never going to be a situation where we were going to see an upset here. Con Capital is clearly a top heel faction. They're going to want them to go over. This was a way to break the night up, have Con Capital be out there because they got to keep them on the show, keep them rolling. And they did that, just that. It was a good, solid tag team matchup for the time it was on there. Maddie and Kinlock are, they're the fun. They come down with the air guitars. The people in the audience have a good time with them. And it served its purpose is the best way I can describe this match.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. This was just, a little bit of a palate cleanser before the finals of the tournament. They needed a little break in between just so that all the tournament matches weren't all jammed together back to back. Give the Sheehan and Dunn a little bit of time to rest in the back. So Con Capital versus Maddie Short and Izzy Kinlock. Kinlock or Kinlock?
I thought it was, hold on. Let me check my notes here. Kinlock is what I wrote down. Kinloch.
Okay. Yeah, Kinlock. Pardon me there, Izzy. Yeah, they're a comedy tag team. They are job guys, and again, don't ever feel bad about saying that, Munson. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing jobs in wrestling. Job guys are completely needed in the business, and it is a noble profession in professional wrestling to do jobs and make other stars look good. So these guys do a good job of that. Plus, they're fun, and the crowd likes them. Matty Short's bubbling over with charisma. He's hilarious. His presentation is funny. They come down with the Guitar Hero guitars and do a few solos and just dance around a little bit. The fans like this because, as we know, wrestling shows are the most fun when they're partly a show that the fans sit and watch, but they're partly a party too. So let's party a little bit. That's what Matty Short and Izzy Kinlock bring to this. And yeah, they didn't bring too much else. This for a tag team match. This was 5 minutes, so it was pretty one-sided. And yeah, Izzy gets pinned with a big standing lariat in the middle of the ring. Ooh, that looked pretty impactful there. No other moves needed. Izzy, not really the sturdiest or hardiest of wrestlers. He goes down for the 1, 2, 3, and there you've got your match in between to let the tournament guys rest a little bit, and you get Con Capital out there in the spotlight, and you give Con Capital another win just to cement their strong position in the tag team division of IPW. Bang, crosses all the T's and dots all the I's. Perfect. And then I thought when I was watching this that this was going to be the last match before the tournament final. But in fact, Munson, there was one more after that.
There was an open challenge from the unbeaten champion, the Great Ape Jayrilla. Open challenge for the championship. Who was going to step up to the Great Ape? Well, a couple of things happened here, Bob Spokes. First and foremost, before Jayrilla even makes his entrance, out comes good friend of the show, the Divine Light, James Shaw, to the ringside area in his full garment, mask, everything like that. And he's there, of course, with the most defensive wrestler of all time, Sir Mr. Burns, church and state, following well together. At least we think they are anyway so far. But yes, Jayrilla would then come out. We know that, of course, coming up in a couple of shows, and we've already reviewed it. Again, I'm gonna overload this stream with a bunch of links to the previous ones as well too. But we know that coming up, it is James Shaw, the Divine Light, versus Jayrilla for the championship. So of course we know what's going to happen here tonight in this matchup. Pretty easy to tell. Unbeaten Jayrilla is going to go over, but who was he going to fight? Well, this was the other match where he fought Xander Taylor. Of course, we reviewed a previous one where Xander Taylor fought up against the Great Ape. And Xander Taylor, new to the scene, young in the scene, but man, do I like him. He is a big boy. He is a tough boy, and he's willing to step in there, and he goes toe-to-toe well with Jay, really well with Jay. Again, he goes in here and attempts his body slam. We remember he got one after the match in the other match that we called there. This one actually is the one that cost him, though, because he tries it here, but the weight of Jayrilla ends up folding back over onto Xander Taylor, which is what results in Jayrilla getting the pinfall victory and retaining the championship. Meanwhile, Jay's all kinds of fired up about wanting to get a piece of the James Shaw on the outside. But of course, James Shaw, Mr. Burns, is now saying, hey, James, go in there and beat him up, and I'll cash my contract in. I'll cash it in right now, and I'll take the title home for us. And I don't know on what planet Sir Mr. Burns is living, but I think from the bit we know about the Divine Light, James Shaw, he ain't going to put up with shit like that at all, Papa Smokes. He's not interested in the titles for other people. He's interested in the titles for James Shaw only. So, of course, he then turns around and gives a good old smack to Sir Mr. Burns, takes him right out, and then exits. We also know that originally this match was supposed to have the hooligan Marcus Cool taking on Jayrilla, but he was unable to be there. I wonder if that was tied to once he picked up his injury last year as well, too, that he's been recovering from. And we do know that there's been a little bit of tie-in over on the SPW side between Marcus Cool and James Shaw. And I almost wonder if there was a little something going on here as well, too. Suddenly James Shaw's out at ringside. No Marcus Cool in the house as well, too. I start to wonder if there's a little bit intertwining going on, so to speak, if James Shaw is going to become a big thorn in the side of Mr. Marcus Cool should and when he return to professional wrestling.
Yeah, we've seen James Shaw in the past just outwardly mocking the hooligan Marcus Cool by wearing the skinhead wig and coming in with the soccer cleats and everything else, imitating him in a very derogatory fashion, or a mocking fashion, I guess I should say. But Shaw not willing to do the dirty work of church and state of Sir Mr. Burns, and you got to wonder what's on James Shaw's mind here. And I agree with you 1,000%, Munson. Shaw is not in it for anybody but himself. We know that he's a shyster, he's a con man. That's all he wants to do, is cheat people out of what they deserve, and he's going to try and do that again. He wants everything for himself. But in this match, we've seen Jayrilla face Xander Taylor before. Xander Taylor, very young, but very big, very strong. And he comes off as a believable opponent for Jayrilla, even without a ton of experience and championship and big match experience. You can kind of believe this because this is two big boys slapping meat together in the ring, and wow, they do a good job of it. Xander Taylor starts to build some momentum by hitting the ropes and clotheslining Jayrilla, stunning him a couple times, and then, another one puts Jayrilla down to his knee. So once again, like the last match of Jayrilla's that we covered, they're finally showing some spaces between his armor, some weaknesses that he might have, just suggesting that Jayrilla is human just like anybody else, and he can be hurt And if he can be knocked over, then he can be pinned. So we'll see what's going to happen. Uh, that's body slam spot. I hate that spot so much because it always makes me cringe when a smaller guy picks up a big giant guy to slam him, gets him up to here, and then falls backwards. Can you imagine doing a spot like that? Like, I mean, it would be so difficult to pick up such a large and heavy man in the first place. And then you're not just going to drop him down front, you're going to fall backwards with him on top of you. That's terrifying to me, and I respect the guys that do it. This spot came off perfectly. At any rate, Xander Taylor falls backwards. Jayrilla hits the big splash and 1, 2, 3 pinfall. We're in and out of this match in four minutes. So some quick ones throughout here. Lots of matches, but short ones on this card. Jayrilla retains again. Xander Taylor elevates himself from being a very lower card guy, seemingly due to his experience, but due to his size and intensity, he gets in there in some of these semi-main and main event spots with Jayrilla because he can handle himself with another big guy. So win-win situation for IPW, but a big.
Yep. And just as we finish talking about that match, Bob Spokes ducks out one more time. Hopefully we can get it back here in time for one last matchup of the night. So we will just hang tight. Very shortly, Bob Spokes will be back in the house, and we will talk about that, a big finish, the final match of the tournament. And here he comes, Papa Spokes. He's loading. He's loading. He'll be on your screens in a moment. There he is. Papa Spokes, can you hear us? No, we're not hearing you yet, Bob Spokes. Give it one more try.
Yeah, I can hear you, Munson. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We're good. We're good. So you know what, Bob Spokes, because we're getting to the top of the hour and because we're at
all right, I'll just keep talking and you tell me when you can hear me.
Oh no, we can hear you. We can hear you. We're good now. We're good. So with that said, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about we lost him again. I should have known better. I should have known. It's just getting to that point. But yeah, hopefully we can get him in here, bring him back. We'll get through this thing with you guys. Thank you for bearing with us. This kind of stuff happens. It's just one of those nights here in good old Saskatoon. Power's going out. People are burning to death because it's too damn hot outside. It is summertime. What else can you expect? It's just one of those things. Papa Spokes is almost back in here, I think. Oh, there we go. I think I can add him now. He's loading. He's going to be back on your screens in a moment. Hopefully this time to stay the rest of the show. He's almost here. Come on in, Papa Spokes. There he is. He's back on our screens, but can he hear us? Oh, no, he's gone again. we saw the look of disdain on his face as he went that time. You know what? We should create a new drinking game to this particular episode of Ring Respect Radio. You take a shot every time that Papa Spokes drops off the screen. You know how loaded we would all be right now if we had a shot every time we lost Papa Spokes tonight. Hey, Papa Spokes, are you back? Are you with us? Possibly.
I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. I was just telling the audience we should create a drinking game after this.
I'm talking. You can't hear me though.
Oh no, we can hear you now. Yeah. Can you not hear me?
You better finish this up, Munson.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's get to it. It's time for the main event of the evening. This match scheduled for
you better finish this up, Munson. I don't know if I'm here for long.
Okay, sounds good. I think we're on a delay on the audio. There he goes again. Yeah. All right, I'm going to start talking my part, and then we'll bring Pop Spokes back in here in a second. So it is the main event of the evening. It is to determine the first ever Peter Lane Memorial Cup winner. The finals of the tournament are taking place. It is Vinny Dunn on one side of the ring. It is Jake Sheehan on the other side of the ring. The two obvious choices to be here, but also the best choices to be here. Both these guys very well tied to the history of Peter Lane and what he brought to New Zealand professional wrestling. So this was a great final matchup, and it delivers. Back and forth wrestling between these two gentlemen. It was something of a marvel. This is a main event that was a true main event. Like, this main event highlighted what a main event is supposed to do. It is the best match on the card between two of the absolute best wrestlers in the very first one of these tournaments. This was a fantastic matchup. Great matchup between these two to determine the winner. And in the end, it took two package pile drivers from Jake Sheehan to finally take out Vinny Dunn and get the pinfall to become the first ever Peter Lane Memorial Cup winner. Congratulations to Jake Sheehan. What a matchup. The tournament was great, but it was highlighted by a phenomenal finale. Papa Smokes, if we have you with us, we'd like to get your thoughts on this one too.
All right. First of all, am I coming through here, Bob?
You are. We can hear you loud and clear.
All right, let's do this and finish this up before I get lost completely. You could feel that this was an emotional match right off the bat. The wrestlers were feeling it. The fans were feeling it. Everyone remembering Peter Lane and the loss that the New Zealand wrestling world has felt since his passing. Both wrestlers are baby faces in this match, but that doesn't really matter, I don't think, in this match, because it had an intensity to it. It was all about spirit of competition, just like Peter Lane taught them. Good feelings all around here. They brawl on the outside for a little bit. There's a couple slams on the floor. These guys still have no padding at the ringside area, too, so Sheehan took a hard body slam there. That can't feel good. Dunn takes over with some big moves, including a spear and his muscle buster that he likes to use. But Sheehan will not die. And some of those pinfalls, you think maybe they could have happened if there was a better pinning attempt. But Sheehan just able, one of those kickouts, all he did was kind of flop his shoulder, like he barely even moved. That's all he could do to get out of it. Sheehan intercepted Dunn's second spear attempt with a flying knee. Hits that pile driver. He calls the Purge pile driver. It looks like it's reminiscent of Paul Orndorff's old jumping pile driver. Very, very well done. And Sheehan gets the pinfall. Once again, good feelings all through the crowd. They chanted, "This is awesome." They chanted all kinds of complimentary things towards the wrestlers. And then we got some epilogue afterwards. Tatahi in tears, taking his boots off in the corner. We know what's going to happen. The mood is somber, but it's also happy after the match, too. It's like I was saying at the top of the show, it's sad when someone influential dies, but it's happy to remember them in the good times and to celebrate their influence as well. That's what was going on here. Sheehan makes a nice little speech, ends it with, "It was an honor," and hands the mic over to Vinny Dunn. The fans stand and applaud. One of the biggest receptions we've seen on any of these cards. And Tatahi Vinny Dunn, with a short but sweet retirement speech, kept it classy, kept it short, and celebrated Peter Lane, his trainer, his mentor, and his friend. Touching, well done, awesome. And I really hope they continue to make this an annual event.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Bob Smokes. Loved it. Loved the finish to this. Great card, great show, great event. And again, I hope there will be a follow-up to it, just like you said. Thank you, IPW, again, for another amazing show. Can't wait to see. This is the last one we have that's uploaded to their YouTube, Bob Smokes. So we're rolling it back over to you, boys. If you're listening in, where's the 2026 stuff or Christmas? There's the Nightmare Before Christmas event as well, too, I believe, that comes out there. I believe that's what it's called. Anyway, we're waiting. We're excited. We want to see more IPW as always, but in the meantime and in between time, so we don't lose them due to those internet problems. Papa Smokes, your ticker's down below. Tell the people where they can find you, what you get coming up.
All right, everybody, I'm here every week, every Thursday night on OLE Podcast and Video Bros Network on Ring Respect Radio, the very show you're watching right now. Other than that, I can be found at Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, known as X. I am at smokes_papa, and also allegedly on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
Oh, you got through it. All right. As for myself, Bobby Munson, the ticker down below will lead you to my socials. What I got coming up next, how about Point of View on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Andre C. talking about the week in sports. You can also catch myself and Papa Smokes as your commentary team at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel every Saturday with a brand new match. And Papa Smokes, we got to call it still, but we've got that match between Michael Allen, Richard Clark, and Riley Cruz coming up here this Saturday for you guys. You're not going to want to miss what goes down there. But of course, you can catch shows like this and others on this channel, OLE Podcast. Check us out on all social media and on YouTube and Twitch, where we are partnered. So if you want to go ahead, give us your Twitch sub, give us a sub, any of those kind of things over on Twitch. That helps things out a lot. But over on the YouTube, there's many things you can do for us during live shows like this. You can give us super chats. You can give super stickers. Those help out. But what you can also do, keep the chats active, leave us comments, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, or pull out your mobile phone to watch all your favorite OLE shows, including Ring Respect Radio. Of course, about 24 hours after they process and give us those hype points. You can give up to 3 hype points per week to your favorite shows, and we hope that Ring Respect Radio makes the list as one of those shows that you want to hype up, get us seen by more people out in the world so we can have an even bigger party here on Thursday nights talking to you about the things we love in indie wrestling and the history of pro wrestling. But that's going to be it for us here on Ring Respect Radio. Yes, Astrid Hype Points, of course. Thank you for being here to see us out tonight. And we appreciate you as always. And you can also catch the replay of Taking Over Ed and Astrid did on Tuesday night of this week. Well, that's it for myself and Papa Smokes on Ring Respect Radio. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Thursday night. Take care, everyone.